Hello and welcome to this alternative Geneva roundup. Now you'll notice we're not sitting in the busy halls of the Pole Expo in Geneva itself, but rather the more comfortable offices of Autovista Group's headquarters in London. And that's because almost on the eve of Geneva, the Swiss government decided to ban gatherings of over 1,000 people to stop the spread of the new coronavirus.
Now, this did cause a lot of issues for any manufacturers looking to showcase new concepts and vehicles at the show. But luckily, they were able to show a lot of their new concepts off online in streaming events.
Yeah, so rather than walking the hallowed halls of Geneva, we've been spending our time, as Phil mentioned, in the more comfortable surroundings of the London office or at home, just gathering up that information, and that's what we're looking to present to you here today.
So, I'll make a start, and I think I'll go with Volkswagen, or VW. Now, they've spending €1 billion on their electrification programme, and Geneva was going to be the home, instead online was the home, of the launch of the ID.4. Now, previously this was a concept called the ID Cross, double Z, but it was going to be it is the first electric SUV model from Volkswagen on the hallowed MEB platform. It's available in a rear-wheel drive variant, but Volkswagen has said that a full-wheel drive electric model will be coming out after that. And it's also going to be a carbon-neutral vehicle. It's going to be produced on the same lines as the ID.3, which is scheduled for release later this year. And Volkswagen are really big at the moment on becoming carbon-neutral. Alongside this, they're also going to present the Golf GTE PHEV, and the new GTI, and they're also going to announce the GTD, which is obviously the performance diesel version of the Golf. And one thing that really caught my eye in the press release and on the conference itself was the fact that they've actually announced that what do they call it here? Twin dosing technology allows for lower nitrogen oxide levels. So diesel's maybe not quite dead yet.
Interesting. I meanwhile looked at Group PSA. Now, they only really had DS, or planning to display DS at the Geneva show. They were going to release the Aerosport Lounge, which is this new luxury concept vehicle. Not too much about it in the press releases going out, but we do know it would have been a kind of hyper-efficient aerodynamic car that would have used a lot of technology in the grille to channel air incoming at the car round the sides of the wheels. Alongside that, they would have had the DS9 Saloon, part of the E-Tense family, which is a plug-in electric hybrid. Now that follows in the footsteps of the DS7 Crossback from 2018 and the DS3 2019. The EMP2 platform, which is effectively a modular platform, makes great use of space. So you see more space throughout the car, of course, because we're not using the same ICE, internal combustion engines, and layouts of the vehicles they're in. Whilst they weren't going to take any other brands to the Geneva Motor Show, the Peugeot did actually come out with the car of the year, which is the Peugeot 208, which beat out the Tesla Model 3 and the Porsche Taycan as well, which came second and third respectively. Now that was judged by 60 journalists from across the moto industry. They really liked its design, they really liked the different model variants, and of course there's going to be an electric model coming out later this year.
Yeah, so I sort of picked up BMW along with all the other manufacturers. Obviously they took the opportunity to host a digital press conference as an alternative to Geneva. The upshot of this really was just to introduce their new i4 concept, which they call a Grand Coupe. Essentially, think of it as just a coupe with 4 doors, along the lines of a 6 Series Grand Coupe, for example. It is fully electric and it utilises BMW's 5th generation eDrive technology. That follows on from a couple of other models that they're launching out now shortly. So the iX3, obviously based on the X3, will be the first model to feature that new technology. That's due to come out later this year, and then following that the iNext is due in 2021. I mean, BMW are an interesting one because, they were a pioneer of electric vehicle technology to a certain extent with the i3 and, haven't necessarily continued in the same vein.
I find it interesting. It's going to be the ID3 and the ID4 and the i3 and the i4 as well. So that's going to be fun to remember. Yeah. So I will now pick up with Dacia. They were going to bring something I find quite exciting actually in the press conferences that were streamed online. It's the spring electric concept. Now it's basically a city car, and we know that the city car market, it was looking a little bit sluggish at one point. Manufacturers were pulling out of it, but I think with the electric vehicle revolution, there may be a little saviour in there. We've seen that with the Citroën Amy recently. But this is a 4-seat, 4-door. They call it a real 4-seat car. I don't know what the difference between a real 4-seat car. Exactly. Yeah, it's got 2 seats in the back that just don't actually exist. Real 4-seat car, 4 doors as well, so you can actually take people around where you need to go. It's available in the first half of 2021 with a range of 124 miles. But what I'm really interested in is the price. It's based on the Renault City KZE, which is currently available in China for an equivalent of roughly 9,000 euros. Now, when you're looking at the price of the Nissan Leaf, for example, in the high 20s, there's the affordability in the electric vehicle market is something to consider. So if they can bring it in, around 9,000 euros, maybe 12 for inflation, etc., like that. That could be a real game changer, I think, for the market.
Well, I continued along the kind of French manufacturing line, looked at Renault. Their big banner headline concept was the Moths, which I hope I'm still saying right. This electric car had its kind of show-off feature was an extendable wheelbase. So standard car size or length is 4.4 metres, which can then extend, so the whole car moves outwards and effectively lengthens by nearly half a metre. So your standard battery range on the city version, city mode, was with a 40 kilowatt-hour battery, you could get 400 kilometres, which is in of itself really impressive when you think about electric battery capacity and efficiency. But once the car extends and goes into the travel mode, the long range mode, you're adding another 300 kilometres up to 700 kilometres total. Now, as far as their stand goes, they were due to have 8 other vehicles, including the new Twingo ZE, which looks to deliver 60 kilowatts worth of power, 22 kilowatt-hour battery, which means a range of about 250 kilometres.
Right. Okay. Well, moving on from France back to Germany again. So Daimler again also took the opportunity to introduce an alternative Geneva live stream video. Essentially they were highlighting their drive to electric mobility. So they've got major investment, not quite to the same extent financially as Volkswagen, but they've got major investment in electric vehicles planned. The main upshot of this is that they're probably looking at having fewer but more flexible underpinnings, and so we could see the disappearance of a few of their platforms, as in internal combustion engine ICE platforms. One thing that especially struck me in the announcement was that they're looking to reduce their CO2 emissions by 20%. Now, bear in mind, Daimler has an emissions target of 103 grams, and they were 126 grams in 2017. And as we've reported on ourselves, this rose to 135 grams in 2018. So if you do the maths, in simple terms, they need to reduce, compared to 2018 levels at least, they need to reduce their emissions by 24% to hit their target now. So it's no coincidence, I don't think, that they're looking to reduce their CO2 emissions by 20%. To achieve this, fundamentally they're looking at doubling the volume, the number of PEVs, plug-in hybrids, and BEVs, battery electric vehicles that they offer. So I'm going to be looking at essentially 5 new battery electric vehicles and about more than 20 plug-in hybrids. Just to wrap up really, the new E-Class alone, they're planning 7 plug-in hybrid variants of that model. So plenty afoot at Daimler as well.
Brilliant. Okay, well, we'd like to thank you for watching this video, this quick wrap-up of the alternative Geneva shows that have been going on. We hope you've enjoyed it. Please follow us on all of our social media channels, and of course subscribe to Daily Brief email. And we hope to catch you in our next video.
Thank you.